Testing 1 2 1 2. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sainsy93, and tonight we are at Mexico for the UFRL Tier 2 race. We have got a short qualifying followed by a 36 lap race. And the standings before last week's race was Salty Stevens had a 2-point lead over UFRL Ghosts. So they are very close. Obviously, that could have changed last week with how the racing was, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And Filthy Ghost is here tonight, but at the moment, I do not see Salty Stevens. Again, I'm unsure if he is racing tonight. There's a bit of a problem with the Discord, so we can't see who's actually racing, but at the moment. But last week's race was won by Algari. Filthy Ghost took P2. And Salty Stevens wasn't in the top 14. Guess he wasn't racing. Or he DNF'd. So Filthy Ghost is probably the championship leader now, I believe. And he'll be hoping to extend his lead if Salty Stevens is not here tonight. So I will go through the grid with you when we start up. But at the moment, we're just waiting to see if anyone else joins before the 8 o'clock or before Mrs. P tells us to go. Or Mr. P. Algari just wrote in the Discord, it's his last day racing with the controller. And you won last week. That is very, very impressive. Yeah, getting a race set up is the best thing that you can do. It improves you so much. It's going to take you ages to get used to it. But seeing you're already in Tier 2, I don't see a problem that you won't get the hang of it pretty soon. You might have obviously had one before, but Algari seems like he is going to get a race, a setup of some sort. Anyway, Mrs. P has said to go, so if you are listening in the chat, please ready up. I see Doug is now racing in Tier 2 more than he actually races in Tier 3. I think he's raced the first race and that was about it for Tier 3 and he won it. But he is in Tier 2 tonight. As again, Mrs. P has said, let's go. We are getting underway in very, very shortly. Again, anything can happen at this track. I actually raced in Mexico last night, and it is tough with the penalty situation. I think I received 6 seconds in the end. But yeah, I think that's going to be a big factor, especially if there's a late safety car or something. If you haven't got any penalties of any sort, then you've got a great chance of moving up the grid. So we have 17 drivers tonight for this Mexico Grand Prix. We have two McLarens of Mr. Potwash and Doug. We have two Hash drivers of Energy Dan and Fed Spen. We have the two Red Bulls of Mr. Wiggles and Filthy Ghost. Very, very good drivers, both of them. And they always seem to be very consistent of actually racing in Tier 2. So helps with the constructors as well for the combined constructors. We have the two Aston Martins of Hybrid and Angry Badger. We have two Williams of Pigrit and the Vicar. We have the two AlphaTauris of F1 Viva and Norwegian Borat. We have two Alpines of Madge and Algari. We have the two Alfa Romeos of Gandalf and Mindful Wasp. And we have the one Ferrari of Brewdog. As a few people have just come out on track. If you are listening to Discord and you are able to write, just an update of the weather. Maybe there might be some rain. Just get up some of this strategies. So I think Gandalf, Angry Badger and Mindful Wasp were the first out on track. Two Alfa Romeos getting out very, very early. Be interested to see what the lap times are to start off with. It looks nice and sunny, so track should be nice and hot, and the tyres shouldn't take too long to warm up, as Gandalf just now starts his flying lap, as well as Mindful Wasp as well, just following behind. Angry Badger also just about to start his flying lap. We'll see what Gandalf's first sector will be. We'll stay with him as he was the first out on track. Just about keeps it on track, and his first sector is it's going to be a 29.2. Mindful Wasp, it's a 28.9, so at the moment Mindful Wasp is quicker, but pretty close at the moment, as Madge is just starting his flying lap as well as P Grit. So quite a few drivers now out on laps. As Gandalf now in sector 3. See what he can post. What will the benchmark be? Around the final corner. Takes a nice close to the line, and it's a 1:17.4. Let's see what Mindful Wasp goes quicker, 1:17.3. So a tenth separates them, but Mindful Wasp goes P1. Angry Badger sets a 1:18.9, puts him now P3. Let's watch Madge, because he is going to be one of the next people over the line. Then we will go to P Grit, because I think he is just behind. Madge is going to set a benchmark of a 1:17.9. Did not use the inside, which I'm surprised about. P Grit now goes P4, 1:18.5. Mr. Potwash now, he is just about to start his flying lap. Anyone else on a flying lap? Mr. Wiggles has just started a flying lap. And Mr. Wiggles' first sector is a 28.8, which is pretty good. Norwegian Borat, I think, has possibly slowed down. Mr. Potwash did cross the line, but he is just starting. He's still not using the ERS, so... which I'm surprised about. Mr. Potwash going for a different strategy. Maybe trying to get rid of some more fuel. Brewdog crosses the line of 119.5. Mr. Wiggles now. As he goes wide, and will that invalidate? It doesn't, which I'm very surprised about. He's going to lose him a bit of time, though. A bit of wiggle in there as well. Going to affect him a tiny bit through this last corner. And he's going to set a time of a 1:18.0. Puts him P5. That's quite a few seconds. Filthy Ghost has invalidated. Norwegian Borat is just going to start his flying lap now. So at the moment, the Alfa Romeos of Mindful Wasp and Gandalf 1 and 2. So we're going to go on board with Algari in the Alpine. See what his Sector 2 time will be. It's a 58.0. Just coming through to into Sector 3 now. Last couple corners. Bit of a wiggle there, but doesn't affect him too much. Round the last corner now. And Algari's going to set a time of a 1:17.8. Puts him P3. Filthy Ghost now. What can he do? Obviously invalidated his first lap. So has he got enough ERS? That's the question. Sector 2 is a 57.7. We'll stay on board with Filthy Ghost. As Fed Spen, I think, just went to P9. Filthy Ghost now going to cross the line. And it's P3 at 1:17.4. Does not beat the Alfa Romeos. F1 Viva crosses the line and it's a 1:19.9. But he's not using any ERS. So... Hybrid now, a 58.2. His second sector. Hybrid now, he's going to cross the line. And it's a 1:18.1 that puts him P8. We're going to go to Energy Dan, who's still in Sector 1, so we'll go to someone else at the moment. Trying to find someone who's closer. Norwegian Borat is not on the lap. Fed Spen is not on the lap. Mr. Potwash is not on the lap. Viva is going quicker. But again, he's still not using any ERS. Maybe he uses ERS this time. And he's going to cross the line, and it's going to be a 1:19.3. Puts in P13 now. Energy Dan now. See what Mindful Wasp is going to do, actually, because he will be the next to cross the line, I think. Bit of a wiggle there, though. Energy Dan now crosses the line, and it's a 1:18.2. Mindful Wasp pits, so did not go quicker. Angry Badger on a lap here, and he's 2 tenths up in his first sector. Angry Badger, tiny bit up on his time. He did lose 2 tenths though in that second sector, unfortunately for him. Can he move up in this last sector? The Aston Martin of Angry Badger now And he's going to cross the line. And it's a 1:18.9. Puts him P13. Still does not move up at all. F1 Viva now. He's going to cross the line again. And he is going to do a 1:19.4. Does not improve. Doug now on a flying lap. No, he's not. He's not using ERS either. Gandalf also on a flying lap. And he's gone purple in Sector 2. So can he move ahead of his teammate? Gandalf now round the final corner. And it's going to be a 1:17.1. Puts him now provisional pole. Gandalf going 3 tenths quicker. It was a really good lap. Vic, I'm not sure it is on a lap. We're going to try and find someone who's closer. Mr. Wiggles. He is going into the pits. Struggling a bit, everyone, tonight. P-Grit now 3 tenths up. The P-Grit will be moving up, possibly, because there's a bit of a gap between 10th and 9th at the moment. I think Angry Badger just went up to 10th. He did. Angry Badger now up to 10th in the Aston Martin. P-Grit goes P4 with a 1:17.8. But his teammate, Vicar, goes P4 with a 1:17.5. Viva now using his ERS. So let's see what he can do. We'll go watch Doug for a second, who's actually just finishing his lap. But he isn't using his ERS again. He's using it now. He set a 1:19.2. Algari is on the lap. And he is 3 tenths up in his first sector. So we're going to stay on board with Algari. See what he can do in sector 2. He does go wide. And I think that's going to lose him all the time. It is. Can't see improving too much. Energy Dan is 3 tenths up. We're going to try and find someone who's a bit closer. Viva is 6 seconds down. He obviously had a problem of some sort. Vicar and Pigrit will probably come into the pits. Energy Dan has backed out of his lap, so can't be too long left. So Madge comes into the pits. As we are down to the last 5 minutes. Madge has retired from the session, so I don't know if he retired in the pits or he has had a problem out on track, but Madge will not be setting any more laps today in qualifying. Energy Dan seems a bit stuck there, but I think he's just trying to make sure he doesn't get in the way. Mr. Wiggles now is on a flying lap. As Mr. Wills does go a bit wide, doesn't actually invalidate, so it is okay. But he's about half a tenth up at the moment. P-Grit now, I think he's just set one of his laps. As Mindful Wasp is out on track as well, and he is going quicker. Mr. Wiggles is a tenth down on his time at the moment. Mr. Wiggles set to time of 1:17.5, puts in P4. Mindful was now around the final corner. He's going to come into the pits because he wasn't improving. Fed Spend now is on a flying lap, so let's see what his second sector will be. He is half a second up at the moment. As Fed Spend now right round the final corner. And he is going to go to P11 with a 1:18.2. Let's go to Gandalf, who is on a flying lap. Let's see what his first sector will be. He is roughly about the same time. Half a tenth up at the moment. So you can gain that back. Gandalf in Sector 2. He is pretty much the same time. So can he do anything in Sector 3 to improve his time? Round the final corner now. This will be his last. And he goes a 1:16.9. Gets the first driver into the 1:16s. Really well done from Gandalf. We're going to go down to Hybrid, who is just in Sector 2 now. Let's see what he can do in Sector 2. He is half a second up, so he is improving. Mr. Bills has retired from the session. Anyone out, not out on a lap now, who's in the pits will not be able to get a lap in. Hybrid now, what can he do? He goes to P3 with a 1:17.4. Filthy Ghost is not improving. He is 3 tenths down at the moment. Energy Dan now, let's see what his first sector will be. He is about the same time. Someone just moved up. Doug just moved up to P8 with 1:17.8. Brewdog now is just about to start his flying lap. We're going to go to trying to find someone who's a bit closer. Filthy Ghost now crosses the line. And it's a 1:17.9. Does not improve. Stays P4. Let's go to Algari now, who is half a second, I should say, up. So is improving. Energy Dan has retired from the session. Took a bit too much curb there, and he's lost it. And he nearly crashes, but he comes into the pits instead. Mindful Was is also retired from the session. P-Grit doesn't look like he'll be improving. Doug goes better with a up to P6 now at 1:17.5. As I believe that is it, because Viva will not be improving. Speedy Bullet says, hello everyone. Hello Speedy Bullet, who is in course my teammate in Tier 3. Nice to have you tonight with us. So, Gandalf and Mindful Wasp take 1 and 2 for the Alfa Romeos. Well done to them. They went out first and no one moved them at all. Gandalf was currently P2, but then he improved and then improved again to be the only driver into the 116s. Finishes a 116.9. So, like I said, Gandalf does take P1. He does win the qualifying. Ahead of his teammate, Mindful Wasp. P3 is Hybrid. P4 is Filthy Ghost. P5 is Mr. Wiggles. 6th is Doug. 7th is The Vicar. 8th is P Grit. 9th is Algari. And rounding out the top 10, it is Energy Dam. Alright, we're just going to take a 5-minute break now, and I will be back very, very shortly. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. We'll be underway very, very shortly. Remember, there is no formation lap, so we'll be going straight to the race. And we should be underway shortly. Again, it's going to be tough for anyone to beat these Alfa Romeos tonight. They've got some great pace tonight. Look really confident around this track. But again, I think this might all come down to who can keep away from getting these penalties. As Chelsea are now 2-0 up against Middlesbrough. I'm guessing that is what it means by Viva going go in the chat. Yeah, Chelsea are now 2 up. Fernandes has scored. As we are about to go underway. We have 5 lights and we are green. Are the drivers going? Let's wait and see. They are. We are underway. The 2 Alfa Romeos get us underway. They are side by side. Who is going to back out first? Mindful Wobbs does take the lead, but Filthy Ghost has got the better exit there, and he will take that position from Gandalf. So Filthy Ghost now up to P2. Mindful Wobbs on the hards as well, so what a start from him at that race start. And Mr. Wiggles is out. Mr. Wiggles has had a collision somewhere with, I'm not too sure who that is. We will concede though. I think it might be Madge. I think Madge was the person. And that, unfortunately, is Mr. Wiggles out of this race. I didn't see what happened, so I can't specify what has happened, but it doesn't help. It might have not been missed. I'm not too sure. Madge did go down a long way. But it doesn't seem like he has damage. We'll have to wait and see if anyone does come into the pits. This doesn't really help the soft people on the softs. Let's look at the position changes. So we have 2 people pitting, and that is Hybrid. Oh, we have 4 people pitting. So we've got Algar. I think Algari. It was Algari. Because he has no front wing, it seems like. Who had the contact. So we've got 4 people pitting. So our biggest winners are Energy Dan, who's up 5. Mr. Potwash is up 8. And Mindful Wasp on them hards is up to P1. What a start from him. At the moment, Gandalf down in P3. The biggest people to make that drop at the moment. A Hybrid down 10, but of course he has pitted. And Algari down 6, but again has pitted. Algari going on to a set of softs as well now. So Hybrid going for the long game. Algari going for the short. He's trying to get his, do some quick laps and then pit for maybe the hards or a set of mediums possibly. We'll have to wait and see. Everyone's pretty much caught up. I think there probably will be one more lap under this safety car because we've got someone who's about 14 seconds behind. I can't imagine he will catch up on time. So unfortunately for Mr. Wiggles, he is the first DNF tonight. Happened in the first sector. As Chelsea apparently should be 3-0 up, but they have missed that chance. Still 2-0 to Chelsea. Hybrid pitting again. So let's see what Hybrid's doing here. He's going on to a set of mediums. And he has got a new front wing as well. So obviously they did not change the front wing when he came in last time, I am guessing. So Doug is up to P4, which on the set of hards is very, very impressive. As everyone has pretty much caught up to the back now, so the safety car should be in this lap, and it is. I can confirm that. Race control has just said safety car is in this lap, so Mindful Wasp will just start backing up the pack, and we will be away very shortly. Again, he needs to have a good exit here because the straight down here is massive. When will he go? That is the question. Let's see. He's waiting still. And he has gone. Mindful Wasp does take that chance. A pretty good start from him as well. Already got a 6th attempt. Doug has had a really good start. And he's about to take Gandalf for 3rd place. Doug now up to P3. Gandalf now losing positions right, left, right and centre. And he is now down in P5 at the moment. Energy Dan has actually taken Doug as well for P3. So Gandalf does not have that straight line speed. Gandalf now being attacked by P-Grit, and Gandalf now down to P6. As Algari now fighting with Viva for P13. Again, you can't really overtake here. But he is literally nudging him past. And does he take that position? They're side by side. Algari does leave him room. Viva will have the inside line. But Algari does take that for P13 now. Filthy Ghost sets the new fastest lap, and he is catching up to the back of Mindful Wasp. Mindful Wasp now defending, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. And Filthy Ghost, does he take that? They're side by side, still going to the next part. And they collide. Filthy Ghost has lost it with Mindful Wasp. There was contact. And now Filthy Ghost down in P9 or 10 now. And Mindful Wasp fighting with Energy Dan. Unfortunately, Mindful Wasp and Filthy Ghost didn't leave each other enough room. I think Mindful Wasp possibly should have backed out there. But again, I didn't have the best of view, so I'm not going to say too much about that. We're going to, as there is a full course safety car, which I'm very surprised about. Don't know who has the damage. Don't see anyone with no front wing. I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see who will come into the pits. It is Angry Badger. He has no front wing. So, as Mindful, someone has pitted. Energy Dan is pitting. So, Energy Dan is coming into the pits. And what will he go on to? He goes for a set of mediums, going for a two-stopper. Or will he be trying to get the... He's going for mediums, so he's going for a two-stopper. Not a bad shout from him. Does lose quite a few positions there, but again, them softs weren't going to last too much longer. They last about 10 or 12 laps around here. And just to confirm, UFRL Formula 1, so the leaders have just said Angry Badger has lost his wing. So, yeah, Angry Badger unfortunately brings out the safety car. As we're going to back the pack up again. P Grit now in P3 on them set of softs. Mindful Wasp and Doug got a really good chance here because they're on the hards and they're at the moment they are P1 and 2. Hard's not a bad way to go at the moment, it looks like. As Chelsea are now 4-0 up against Middlesbrough. Well, I'm not too sure if they're 4-0 up or 3-0 up. It's either 3 or 4. 4-0. I confirm it's 4-0 to Chelsea. So, the first half, and they have demolished Middlesbrough. Chelsea now 4-0 up. As Algari now comes into the pits, and he's going to a set of hards. So he's got rid of them softs, and he has gone for a set of hards. So, Mindful Wasp still leads this race. Doug is P2. P-Grit is P3. P4 is Gandalf. 5th is Brewdog. 6th is Fed Spen. 7th is Filthy Ghost. 8th is Hybrid. 9th is Viva. And rounding out the top 10 is Borat. Then we've got Energy down 11th. The Vicar 12th. Mr. Potwash is 13th. 14th is Madge. 15th is Angry Badger. And Algari is 16th. But the stops are Hybrid's actually pitted twice, and he's now P8, so that's very impressive from him. Algari's also pitted twice, and Viva, Norwegian Borat, Energy Dan, the Vicar, Mr. Potwash, Madge, and Angry Badger have all pitted just the once. With the top 7 not pitting just yet. As Mindful Wasp just backs up the pack once more. And he's already gone. I think he's already gone. He has. He has gone very, very early. And he caught Doug a bit off guard here. Brewdog going to get Gandalf for 5th. Gandalf really struggling with this straight line speed. And Filthy Ghost has actually taken Fedspend for 6th. Energy Dan takes Norwegian Borat for 10th. And Hybrid takes Fedspend for P7. And Fedspend and UFRL Viva having a great battle here. The two Fedspend and Energy Dan, I should say. Viva actually got past Fedspend. And Gandalf's retaken P4 from Brewdog. Brewdog has actually gone invisible, so I guess he has left the session. Hopefully we can get him back in. As Madge has retired from the session, and we are going to have another safety car. While this is going ahead, I will try and find... just sent Brewdog a quick invite just to try and get him back in. Gandalf now, and P-Grit actually pits from P3. Gandalf picks up a time penalty of some sort. And it's a drive-through. Gandalf having a horrid race at the moment and picks up a drive-through now. Not too sure what has happened there. But unfortunately for Gandalf, he has got a drive-through. He won't be able to serve it until the safety car has finished. So your biggest movers, Doug is up 4. Brewdog is up 8. Viva is up 9. Mr. Potwash is up 7. The biggest people down is Algari, who's down 6. P-Grit down 5. And Madge and Wiggles obviously DNF'd from this race, unfortunately for them. But we are in lap 9 and we've already had 3 safety cars tonight. People really struggling around this track at the moment. Keeps them packed very close though. As Gandalf is pitting onto a set of softs. P-Grit also pitting again and has gone to a set of mediums. I'm surprised some of the mediums, Viva Hybrid, Filthy Ghost or Brewdog didn't try and go for a set of hards and try and go to the end. Obviously got different ideas. Then again, I can't imagine their tyres are that bad at the moment. And at half time, I can confirm Chelsea are 4-0 up against Middlesbrough. So it looks like Chelsea will be going to the final. So they have got the second half to play, but I'd be very surprised if they lost it now. And the safety car is in this lap. As Mindful Wasp, for the third time, is going to back this pack up. So when will he go this time? As he's backing up the pack. He's had some good restarts tonight, Mindful Wasp. But Doug actually does really well to keep up with him. It's not a big of a gap as he was hoping, Mindful Wasp. And Doug now, can he get ahead of Mindful Wasp? It looks like he's got the quickest car down the straight. They're going to be side by side here. Doug does leave him room and Mindful Wasp does take that position. Brewdog now getting involved and he could take this position from Doug. And the Filthy Ghost now getting involved. He's now up to P3. So it's happening all over the field here. 4 cars here. 5. There's a bit of a train here. But Filthy Ghost is now up to P3 ahead of Brewdog. As Pressy says, think Gandalf has tried to remove his drive-through around the safety car. I think that's what he possibly tried to do as well. But now he is 16 seconds behind this group, unfortunately for him. Not much he could have done, but I don't think he actually wants to pit. And Merck says that's game over then. Yeah, unless there's another safety car. As Energy Dan has actually taken Viva now for P6. Viva on them older mediums. As there's only 4 drivers now that haven't pitted, and that is the top 4. As the Vicar has taken out, as Algari and Vicar are fighting for P9 and 10. And I think Fedspen's getting involved here, and Fedspen might have taken that position from the Vicar. He does have to back out though. And now P-Grit right behind this group. Let's go up to Algari though, because he is fighting with Mr. Potwash. Bit of a lunge there, and Mr. Potwash does go wide. That was a bit of a lunge though from Algari. As DRS is now enabled. As Doug is going to struggle to keep Filthy Ghost behind here. Let's go on board with Filthy Ghost. As Filthy Ghost does get that position. Gandalf sets a new fast lap, and Hybrid is the first driver to pick up the 3-second time penalty. As Mindful Wasp has a 2.4 second gap lead now from Filthy Ghost. Let's go to Viva, who is still right on the back of Energy Dan. Energy Dan did take that position from him, but he hasn't got away. Obviously a bit of a DRS train here. As Algari now kind of getting involved in this as well. And Fedspen has retired, and we have another safety car. So do the top 4 pit? I'm guessing the mediums will pit. They've got to, surely. Mindful Wasp, is he pitting? Mindful Wasp is not. Filthy Ghost is pitting. Doug is pitting, and Brewdog. Hybrid also pits. Norwegian Borat has retired from this session. Not too sure what's happened to him. We are down to 13 drivers now. but Mindful Wasp has stayed out on them tyres. As Doug goes to a set of mediums. Filthy Ghost is on a set of hards. Brewdog goes to a set of hards. Hybrid on a set of hards. Viva went for mediums. Algari and Gandalf both on the hards. Mindful Wasp obviously trying to do a one-stopper here. Everyone else looks like they're going for at least a two-stopper. Hybrid is on 3 and Algari is on 4 at the moment. But P-Grit is on 2 and he's up to P5. So a lot to play for here still. That is what the tyre strategies look like at the moment. As Angry Badger unfortunately has picked up a speed in the pit line penalty and has picked up 5 seconds. This race can still go any way tonight. As I think we can only have one more safety car, and then the game kind of stops safety cars. So this is our 4th safety car. I'm not too sure if that is correct. Might be completely talking absolute nonsense, but we'll wait and see. As the safety car is in, of course, this lap. Mindful Wasp for the 4th time is going to back this pack up. He's got a bigger job here because he needs to keep Energy Dan on them newer mediums behind him. And he has gone. But Energy Dan has a really, really good exit. And I can't see Mindful Wasp keeping him behind. Energy Dan side by side now, and he has got up to P1. Mindful Wasp now trying to get the slipstream. Brakes later, and he retakes P1. Loses the back end a bit. And the Vic has retired, and it's just saying caution sector 2. Looks like we do not have another safety car, as Pressy just said that no more safety, so I guess that is the safety's done. Filthy Ghost now catching up to the back of P Grit on them hards, and Filthy Ghost now is up to P4. As Mindful Wasp has actually got a second lead on Energy Dan now. We're going to stay on board with Filthy Ghost though, who's right on the back of Mr. Potwash. I can't see Mr. Potwash doing much here to defend against him. But again, Mr. Potwash's got a very quick car down the straight. Who's going to brake later though? Mr. Potwash just has to back out of that. And Filthy Ghost is now up to P3. Does go wide there, so will he pick up a penalty? Not a penalty, but a warning. Doug has taken P grip for P5. Now, will there be team orders in McLaren? And Mr. Potwash let Doug through, who's on them fresher mediums. I think Mr. Potwash went wide there, didn't mean to, and Doug has actually taken that position. Viva now side by side with Mr. Potwash, and Viva now takes that position. Hybrid now side by side with Mr. Potwash. Let's go to Filthy Ghoster, who's catching up to Energy Dan. As DRS is now enabled. And there is, I think, contact at the back of this field. As there was a lot of movement about Filthy Ghost is now up to P2. And has taken Energy Dan. And now he is right on the back of Mindful Wasp. So Mindful Wasp now got Filthy Ghost right behind him. As they are going to be side by side here. Filthy Ghost thinks the better of it and will stay behind Mindful Wasp. Just going to stick with this battle at the moment, of course, because this is for the race lead. As UFRL Beast says, come on, Viva, let's go. Viva currently in P5 and doing a very, very good job. As Filthy Ghost now is right behind Mindful Wasp. He doesn't even need the DRS. He's going to get ahead of him before that. Mindful Wasp now tries to take the slipstream off of him. As Doug now gets involved and he has to back out. So Doug now back to P4. Mindful Wasp now down in P2. And Viva has actually taken Doug for P4. There is a caution in Sector 1. Hybrid has lost it and he is now down in P11. But Viva has gone up to P4 now ahead of Doug. Filthy Ghost though does take that race lead from Mindful Wasp. So Mindful Wasp surely tries to get to about lap 24, 25 and then go to a set of softs. As Viva nearly loses it. Just about keeps it, but he does lose that position to Doug. But he is lucky not to DNF there because he nearly completely lost that car. Doug picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. As Filthy Ghost now got a 2.7 second lead. He is flying on them hards at the moment. As Angry Badger has taken Mr. Potwash for 9th. And Hybrid now getting involved in this battle. And Hybrid should get this position for 10th. They are still side by side. Who's going to break later? Mr. Potwash does have the better. But Mr. Potwash does back out. Let's go to Viva, who's caught up to the back of Doug again. Again, following drivers round this section is really tough. But Doug now kind of pushing Energy Dan along. And Doug is now up to P3. And now we'll try and catch up to the back of Mindful Wasp. Viva now right on the back of Energy Dan, and we'll be hoping to get the DRS to try and get past him as well. But Energy Dan will have that DRS as well. Can Doug keep Energy Dan behind? He doesn't. Energy Dan back up to P3. It's a great battle between these three for P3. And this is helping Mindful Wasp massively. It's keeping these guys behind and not in that 1 second gap. Gandalf now catching up to the back of P Grit. People seem to be liking these hards today. As Doug now right behind Energy Dan again. But does he wait now till the air straight to try and get past him? Algari picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. As these three will battle into lap 22. Energy Dan, when does he decide to pit? As Doug has lost it at that back end, and he will lose that position to Viva. So Energy Dan is going to have Viva right behind him here. But I think Energy Dan might have just about enough to keep P3 here. Some really good battling between these three. As Gandalf does take P Grit now for P6. And Viva now up to P3. He has taken the position from Energy Dan. Viva now up to P3. Filthy Ghost now got a 6-second lead. Position changes are Viva's up 13 positions. Energy Dan is up 6. Filthy Ghost is up 3. Energy Dan will need to pit again. Doug will probably have to pit again. Algari is moving down the field. As Gandalf's actually caught up to the back of Energy Dan here. Gandalf really getting involved in this battle as well. And Mindful Wasp has pitted. Repeat, Mindful Wasp has pitted from P2. Can Energy Dan retake that position from Doug? Doug really trying to keep behind. They touch. Doug just can't keep Energy Dan behind. And now Doug is down in P4 once again. As Doug now right behind Energy Dan once again. And that Gandalf and P Grit really getting involved in this battle as well. Helping Viva a lot here because now Viva has a 2.5 second gap between this pair. Doug now, can he retake P3? He is sitting right on the back of Energy Dan here. Takes that slipstream, has the DRS. And he does take that position for P3. Doug now up to P3. And Energy Dan does not try and retake that. So Doug has finally got that position. But what a great battle between the pair. And now Gandalf trying to get involved in this as well. And Pigrit obviously as well. So still some great battling to go. Mindful Wasp went for a set of mediums, so he did not even go for a set of softs. Probably for the best, because I don't think the softs would get to the end. Might have 12 laps, but at the end it would be pretty slow on them softs. Gandalf now hassling Energy Dan. As we are aware though, Gandalf does not have the quickest car down the straight. He could have obviously changed that in the pit stops. He could change the wing a tiny bit, but as Energy Dan has actually pitted. So can Pigrit get Gandalf now for P4? He does. Pigrit now up to P4. And Gandalf can't do anything about it, unfortunately. Doug catching up to the back of Viva now. We have 11 laps to go, so as Energy Dan went to a set of mediums as well. Gandalf now closing up to Pigrit again. Obviously really quick round these corners, but is losing it just at the straights when he needs to overtake. Has the DRS though, so might be able to get past him here. Pigrit nearly loses the back end there. Kind of drifted around that corner. Let's wait and see. Can he get past here, Gandalf? Stay on board with him. He has the DRS. He's catching up. And he will take that position. So Gandalf now up to P4. Pigrit trying to fight back. But he has to back out. So Gandalf up to P4 now. We're going to go down to Algari, who's fighting with Mindful Wasp. This is a big, as Mindful Wasp has actually, taken that position. They nearly collide there as well, but Mindful Wasp is now up to P8. And Mindful Wasp now trying to get close to Angry Badger as quickly as possible. Pigrit now is trying to stay in that second gap between him and Gandalf to try and get that DRS. Angry Badger picks up a 3-second time penalty. The time penalties are Doug, Hybrid, Algari and Mr. Potwash have 3. Angry Badger has 8. Pigrit might have just lost the DRS here to Gandalf. I think he has. And he's got Hybrid catching him up quickly as well. Pigrit surely pits soon because they're not going to last to the end, these tyres. He might as well go to a set of softs. Be interesting if any of the big lot go for a set of softs before the end. As Energy Dan is catching up quickly to Algari. Algari just about leaves them enough space. And they're still side by side here. They're still side by side. None of them using DRS. Not too sure why. And Energy Dan does take that position. Algari nearly loses the... nearly hits into the back of Energy Dan as well there. Mindful Wasp catching up to Angry Badger super quickly here. And Gandalf actually catching up to Doug as well. Can Doug and Viva get to the end on them tyres? They'll have to do 22 laps on them mediums. I think because it's such a good place, good track to overtake, I would probably pit and go for a set of softs if I was up there. Try something different. Mindful Wasp, because Mindful Wasp is flying at the moment. I'm going to stay on board with him because he is flying. Filthy Ghost picks up a 3-second time penalty. That is huge. At the moment, he does have that buffer gap between him and Viva. But it is moving a tiny bit. It's only 4.7 seconds. Mindful Wasp, surely it's a matter of when, not if he gets past Angry Badger. There's 3 of them going wide there, and someone had to go off track there. Mindful Wasp has to back out of it, and he has lost that position. I think not too sure. I think Hybrid must have had a problem there. Hybrid is coming into the pits, and Mindful Wasp is now up to P6. But I think he's going to lose his position because he's going to get... Angry Badger has the DRS. He has. So Mindful Wasp back down in P7 now. And he has got Energy Dan closing up to the back of him as well now. And Mindful Wasp does take P6 now from Angry Badger. But Energy Dan now right behind this pair. And on the fresher medium tyres. Energy Dan taking that position, but was that a good idea? Is he going to have enough pace to get out behind, down the straight to get away from Angry Badger here? He does, because Angry Badger has actually pitted. Hybrid's gone to a set of softs, so he's going to be flying then. Viva, can he do anything? Can he try and get closer to Viva? Gandalf is actually catching up to this pair as well. Are these mediums starting to go? Are either of them thinking of coming in for a set of softs? Mindful Wasp catching up to P-Grit very quickly and is bringing Energy Dan along as well. Gandalf now only 8 tenths behind Doug. So Doug struggling on them mediums now. Is Doug pitting? He doesn't. He stays out. Gandalf, can he get ahead? Can he go up to P3 now? Has he got enough pace in that Alfa Romeo? He is now up to P3. Gandalf does take that position, is up to P3. Mindful Wasp has gone to a set of softs. Mindful Wasp is pitting to a set of softs. So did he get damage? Otherwise, I'm surprised why he pitted from a set of fresher mediums. Hybrid now goes quickest. 1:19.1. Gandalf now trying to catch up to Viva. .3 seconds separate the two. As 1.9 seconds separate it now. Mindful Wasp right behind Mr. Potwash here. Mindful Wasp and Hybrid both attacking Mr. Potwash here, who has got the quickest car down the straight. They're going to be 3 wide here, and Mindful Wasp has actually lost out. Mr. Potwash has a seriously quick car in that McLaren. He has to go wide there though. And Mindful Wasp does take that, but he does lose out to Hybrid. We'll stick with this battle just for the moment, but Gandalf is now only a second behind Viva with 4 laps to go. Hybrid has actually had a bit of a wiggle there, and Mindful Wasp is now only 2 tenths behind him. As Mindful Wasp nearly just collides into the back of Hybrid, but there wasn't any damage from either of them. Mindful Wasp now, can he get ahead of Hybrid? Hybrid trying to get a bit of a defensive move here. As Mindful Wasp does take that position now from Hybrid. And Energy Dan's taken P grip for P5, and Gandalf's only 8 tenths behind Viva. Filthy Ghost has got a 7-second lead over this pair. Let's go back down to Mindful Wasp and Hybrid though, because they have caught up to the back of, as Mindful Wasp picks up a 3-second time penalty. Algari gets out the way, and there was a caution set to, I'm just guessing that's him. I'm surprised Algari's not just decided to pit for a set of softs. Algari picks up a 3-second time penalty. Mindful Wasp did not get out of that second gap, so Hybrid's got a great chance here to retake P8. Let's go on board with him. Sort of good quick car down the straight, so let's see if Mindful Wasp can defend. He's gone for the inside. Hybrid tries the outside, brakes later. There is contact, but Mindful Wasp does keep P8. Nearly worse contact than there was. And Hybrid has now unfortunately had a bit of a spin, and he has now got Algari right behind him. Let's go up to Gandalf though, because he is only 6 tenths behind Viva now. Viva, can he keep Gandalf behind? Has Gandalf got a quick enough car to catch up down the straight? Energy Dan only 3 seconds away from Doug now. Doug obviously has that 3-second time penalty as well. So some more points possibly for Energy Dan. Again, this is your closest battle. Mindful Wasp is catching up to the back of Brewdog as well for P7. And Angry Badger is actually taking Mr. Potwash for 12th. Filthy Ghost has actually picked up another 3-second time penalty, which now means he is on 6 seconds. Again, it doesn't matter too much. We've got a 7.9 second lead. If he has a bit of a problem in this last lap, as Gandalf went too wide, he's going to lose a lot of time there, which will help Viva massively. And we are on the last lap now. Gandalf's got one more lap to try and get P2. Don't think he's going to do it. Viva got the much quicker car down that straight. Gandalf now 4 tenths behind Viva. He's got one more chance here. He's not going to be able to overtake here. This is the only chance I think he's got right here. Viva goes defensive. Gandalf tries around the outside, but he can't make that move count. We're going to go to Filthy Ghost, who's actually... It crosses the line. Viva now loses the back end. He loses the back end. Who's going to win? Viva wins by 0.028. Viva loses the back end on the final corner. Look how close the pair were. Energy Dan takes that P4 from Doug. P5 was Doug, obviously. 6th was P Grit. 7th was Brewdog. 8th was Mindful Wasp. 9th looks like it'll be Hybrid. 10th looks like it will probably be Angry Badger. And 11th will be Algari. And 12th, I think, was Mr. Potwash. So... As you can see, Viva says, as the game says, Viva has taken driver of the day, and I don't think you can say that is wrong. He started, I can't remember where he started. I think he made up about 13 or 14 positions in the end, and he finishes at P2. But your race winner once again, and extends his championship lead, is Filthy Ghost in the Red Bull. He had that collision at the start with Mindful Wasp, but he pitted at the right time. He made his way back through the field, and he is your race winner tonight. He started P4 on the grid, but he wins your race by 3 seconds in the end, even with 6 seconds worth of penalties. Like I said, Viva started P16, so he made up 14 positions. And I think he'll definitely be in my driver of the day pick. The top two will definitely be. Gandalf, I know he started P1, but he actually had a really good race tonight in that slower car down the straight. But at one point, he was P14, had a drive-through, and he finishes P3, so he can't be unhappy with that. P4 was Energy Dan, who had a great battle with Doug. 6th is P Grit, 7th is Brewdog, 8th is Mindful Wasp, 9th is Hybrid, and round at top 10 is Angry Badger. Again, 0.028 separated second and third in the end. So we had some great battling along the field. Energy Dan, Viva, and Doug for them 6 or 7 laps. I think lap 20 or so. That was really good racing. But Filthy Ghost does take the race win tonight. And like I said, he does extend his championship lead. Can anyone stop him? Hopefully, Salty Stevens will be back next week and we'll try and catch up to him. But again, well done everyone tonight. I am Sainsy93 and you've been watching the Mexico Grand Prix with UFRL Tier 2. We will be back next Tuesday for Tier 2, but of course, if you are listening, we are back tomorrow with Tier 3. Okay, hope you enjoyed tonight, and we will see you next time. Good night.